let's get to our week 11 hot read and then get you out of here. Of course, as always, we're looking ahead to next weekend's games, getting some early value. What is your first hot read, Raheem?
I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints plus 1.5 against the Eagles. I know there's been some sharp money on the Philadelphia Eagles this week already, as it was in the last 5 weeks. But we spoke on this earlier. The Eagles, they've been running the ball, and that's their personality. That's what they do. That's their identity right now. But they're going to be facing a Saints defense, which is third in both rushing EPA per play and success rate. They're second in run stop win rate. So they're going to be able to slow down this Eagles offense. And the Eagles don't have a ton of wide receivers. They got Devonta Smith. Obviously, Dallas Goedert is in there. So they got guys like Lattimore who can shut down, a number one receiver. And I don't see this Eagles offense performing the same way it did against the Broncos. So I like the Saints in this spot. I think Trevor Siemian be able to put together some plays against this Eagles defense. So give me the Saints.
Yeah, this one, looking at the schedule, it jumped off the page to me too, just for that exact matchup you said. The Eagles with all their run, and the Saints have been one of the best run defenses the entire season. So as a football nerd, I'm very excited to kind of dig into the matchup and see, but it definitely leans toward the Saints for that reason. So I considered them here too. I think you're against me on this one, but my first hot read here, I'm going to go with the Carolina Panthers at home to Washington football team. I'm going to take the Panthers as 2.5 point favorites, grabbing that one before it gets to the 3 or past. I don't want to get the hook there. I think the Panthers are going to start Cam Newton, and that means that I get Cam Newton at home where the crowd loves him. The Panthers fans love Cam Newton. They're going to be excited. It's going to be a great crowd. That defense is nasty and looking healthy and ready to go again. I know that the defense has only been great against teams that aren't very good. I don't think Washington is very good. Of course, we get Ron Rivera and Cam Newton reuniting in the same game for Cam's return. That does make me a little nervous. Maybe Ron Rivera knows how to defend Cam. Obviously, he's a pretty unique quarterback, but no Chase Young too for Washington. I like Carolina here to get the win at home.
Yeah, I definitely want to see that injury report. I think Montez Sweat is a little banged up as well. So yeah. When I look at this game, though, I was so impressed with what Washington did. And I kind of have to weigh that heavily because this is the team that I thought that they would be. And then when I look at Carolina's win over the Cardinals, I think that said a lot more about the Cardinals than it did about Carolina. So
yeah,
when I look at this line, I'm just not sure. Like, this line's probably going to get to 3 based on what Carolina did. And I'm not sure that's warranted. So for me, from a numbers perspective, I'm kind of looking at Washington.
Yeah, so that's the angle for me. It's not necessarily that this is going to be my most confident play of the week. It's that I want to grab that line at 2.5 before it gets to the 3 or 3.5, because I think, that is still the key number. And so I'm going to make my play here, and then I'm probably just done for the week after I get my money in, because I just want to grab it before we get to the field goal there.
Yeah, that makes sense. My motto actually puts that game at a pick 'em.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that there could be value here. Obviously, Carolina looked way better today than they actually are, but I think Washington did a little bit too. So I think it's keeping the line in range there. I had that Panthers minus 3.5 where I think it's going to get to. So we'll see what happens with that one. What's your other hot read?
My other hot read is I'm going to go with, this is a lean right now. I like the Minnesota Vikings. I keep betting on them week after week. I know that's your team, but I believe in them more than you do.
You do.
and I think part of it is just this team could run the ball with Dalvin Cook. You got dynamic receivers and Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. You have everything you need offensively. And there's a reason why this team has held 7-point leads in every single game. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is still a little bit rusty. But when you look at this Vikings team, they gave the Packers trouble last year and on the road in Lambeau. And actually, they won that game outright. And I think they can do the same thing here. Obviously, they played the 2 deep shell, which is, what a lot of defenses are doing to Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson. And I think they could do that here. So I think the Minnesota Vikings have some value. Again, they keep having value week after week. Obviously, Packers, they cover every single game. But this is a market. And at some point, the market catches up with you. And I think if this gets to 3, I'm going to be all over the Vikings.
Yeah, I would like it a lot better if it got to 3. Underneath 3, I don't know. I never have a good read on the Vikings. Whatever is happening this season, any game, you can just like flip a coin on whatever outcome is going to happen. I do like, they've had so many close games. So getting them as an underdog, to me, it reads more like a better teaser play spot.
Mm.
It's a good teaser number that I'm sure you would like as well. I don't feel great about just getting it at, I could see the Packer. Like as a Vikings fan, I've had way too many games in my life watching either Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre march down the field for that game-winning field goal at the end. So I would like it better at 3. Underneath the 3, I'm gonna wait and see if it gets there, but I do like the teaser spot.
One thing I neglected to mention is also the Packers will be without Aaron Jones. That's a big loss for them in both the running and passing game. They have Dylan, but I think Aaron Jones is a little bit more shifty. He's a guy who can go to in the passing game who's just dangerous in space, and they're not going to have that. So I think that's a little scary.
Yeah, I agree. Aaron Jones is definitely a guy that's hurt the Vikings, definitely more dynamic. AJ Dillon is a good power runner, but you're limiting the offense a little bit there. So yeah, it does look like Jones will be out. All right, my other hot read, I'm going to take an underdog. I'm going to go with the Indianapolis Colts +7 in Buffalo. I just think 7 is too much. The Colts are really good, and the Colts are playing really good football right now. Today's game got a little ugly the second half. I think they just kind of wrapped up business in the first quarter. 17-0 against the Jags. That game is over. You're not going to lose that game. So I think they kind of took their foot off the gas. Buffalo looked really good today. Buffalo has not looked good the last few weeks. And we've talked a lot about Buffalo today and other weeks on this podcast. Honestly, this is going to sound crazy. I don't really know that Josh Allen is that much better than Carson Wentz right now. They're playing kind of similar, fine, but not amazing quarterback play right now. Jonathan Taylor is running all over the place. I think they're going to be able to run the ball. Colts defense has been very good, and I think is going to limit the Bills offense. They haven't really been scoring that well until they get hot for stretches. So I think that I wouldn't be surprised if I end up taking this as an upset special as well. For now, I'm just going to take the +7. I feel like this line is going to drop a little bit, so I'm going to grab the key number while it's there. Even at some books, it's already dropping. So I want to get the 7. I think the line should be closer to maybe 4 points or something like that. So I'm going to grab the 7 and get some value on the Colts here.
I actually have it at 5, so I agree with you. And look, who have the Bills beaten this year other than the Chiefs? They've beaten the Dolphins twice. Like, they lost to the Steelers at home. They beat up on the Washington football team. They beat up on the Texans. To me, they lost to the Jaguars, and they beat up on the Jets. Like, to me, this team is just, they're a bully. So I don't have the respect for them. That I don't believe that this is the same team that we saw last year, where they just, went out there and dominated every single game. So I like them. And I think the Colts they're a playoff team in the AFC.
I mean, they might be. I think we've got 12 teams in the AFC with 5 wins, which the Colts are one of them. So they're going to need to win it. They play the Bills and then the Bucs the next 2 weeks. So they've got to get one of those 2 games, I think. And this seems like an easier spot. This just feels to me like that opening Saturday AFC playoff game. And of course, it's the Bills in there. Usually it's like an old Bengals game. I just feel like we're going to get like 17-16 or 20-16, just close, cagey, strategic, lots of defense, lots of punting, cold weather, football, like I think that's what we're going to get in this game. And so at +7, I have to like my chances of at least covering. I think the Colts have a chance to win.
Ironically, we actually got Bills versus Colts in the playoffs in the wild card last year in Buffalo, and the Colts covered. So,
yeah, and it was probably the first game of the weekend too, because that's how we like to do in the AFC.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Phillip Rivers' last game of his career, played a really good game. So I don't know, maybe a little deja vu with Carson Wentz. So.